What the other thing I was thinking of this week is, how do you, as you're networking or searching for a job or even just building your career, uh, stand out? And what I mean by stand out is like, how do you get people to say you're different? Because part of the issue with the job search is everybody looks the same. I mean, everybody's got the same resume. They've got the same buzzwords. They've got the same bullet points. They've got the same sort of experience. So how do you stand out? And a lot of how you stand out is how you do things, right? So you can put on your resume, here's what I did for the company that I did it for, and when I did it, and where I did it, and who I worked for. You can do all those things sort of on your resume or cover letter or LinkedIn profile or whatever. But how you did it and who you are as a person are very hard things to convey on a piece of paper in a job search, on an application, on your LinkedIn profile. I think LinkedIn gives you a little bit more opportunity, and this is part of posting stuff. Is your posts give you a chance to show who you are, give you a chance to show what you think. So I advocate to build things in public, put stuff out on LinkedIn and show your opinion, show who you are. I think you want to attract the people you want to attract and repel the people you want to repel. But it kind of goes back to the idea of a project or something that shows how you do things, or what you can do or what makes you different. I talked a little bit about this in the last couple of weeks of people I know who are in job searches that are out there trying to build things and share things with the world to show like, hey, this is the kind of work I do. And I think that's great because I think that shows that you are different than other people. It's how do you stand out and be different from people. And so then on a humorous note, sort of humorous, went to see a show on Monday night and the show was D-Town, which is the billed as the number one over 30 boy band in Denver. Denver's number one over 30 boy band. And there are a group of guys who are actors, who were kind of joking around with each other. And one of them came up with this concept of, he wanted to be in a boy band when he was a kid. And obviously that didn't happen, but now he's like, I'm over 30, I'm in my mid 30s. I'm going to come up with this concept of like, what would it look like if a bunch of older guys were a boy band? And they wrote it and they sing the boy band songs. So you go to it, it's like a concert of old boy band songs and with a funny sort of plot and story behind it. And so how does that relate to any of this? Well, the fact of the matter is they're all working actors and they're all trying to find a gig. But when there is no gig, when there is nobody hiring you as an actor or a performer, musician, sometimes you got to go out and create the gig. And that's what they did. They created a show that didn't exist. And yeah, it was a lot of work and they had to do everything and put it together. And now this was the second time I'd seen it. The first time I'd seen it was the first time. And they were like, we don't know if we'll ever do this again. It was just a fun thing to do. But they did it again because some promoter saw them. And I don't know what this promoter is going to do with them, if they're going to have them do other shows in Denver or other cities or how this is going to work. But they basically created a niche for themselves, right? Like this niche of one over 30 boy bands in Denver. I mean, number one, I don't know how many over 30 boy bands there are in the world. But if there are any, I know there's not any others in Denver. And so, not only saying like they're the number one in Denver, it could be the only one in the world. And nobody created that for them. That wasn't a job that somebody came up with. It was them saying like, hey, we got to show what we can do. Now, here's the thing. They can all sing really well. And this showcases that they can sing. They dance moderately well, not great. They're not great dancers, but that's part of the funny part, right? Because they're these old guys who, I say old, they're not old. They're in their 30s. So they're a lot younger than me. So you get, but they show their acting, they show their dancing, they show their singing. It's basically like they can show themselves off to a lot of people that even if they don't want to hire this particular act, they're getting themselves out there and being seen in a way that they wouldn't have done ordinarily. So how do you get yourself out there to be seen? How do you get yourself exposed? What are things you can do to show up to your network and to the world who might hire you? I mean, I think we talked about a couple of these. Number one is the idea of the LinkedIn posting or commenting. So I think there's like 3 levels to this. And the first level I would say is the commenting. Like if you can't write your own posts or you're not comfortable writing your own posts, make sure you're following the people who work at the places you want to work or in the industry you want to work in. Find the people who are posting and start commenting on their posts, because other people in your industry are going to be reading those people too. And when you leave a good comment and it's timely, it comes up after the post and it shows up near the top of the comments, people are going to read that and they're going to see your profile and be like, oh, this is a person who does this too. I like their insight. Maybe I'll talk to them. Maybe I'll connect. And so that's a good place to start, at least to give yourself an opportunity to be seen outside of just your name on a resume or on a list of applicants. So that's level one. I would say level two is actually posting, right? So you can take those comments you write, and if a lot of people like them and comment on them, like turn that into a longer post, expand on the idea that you talked about in the comment. So that's another level. I think the third level, and this is one I'm working on with sort of retention rewards partners, is how do you use LinkedIn newsletters? Now, you have to have a certain number of followers or connections on LinkedIn before they'll let you do a newsletter. So not everybody qualifies. But if you have a decent number of connections and you've been active on the platform and you qualify, you can create a newsletter. And the reason why I would suggest creating a newsletter, even if you don't plan on doing this forever, is you can go into more depth in a newsletter than you can go into on a post. And I also think the newsletter is a good place to sort of highlight other links to other things. Maybe it's links to your resume. Maybe it's links to videos you made. Maybe it's links to work you did. I wouldn't just use a newsletter to highlight yourself and promote yourself. I would pick whatever topic you are an expert on in whatever industry you're in. And I would use, again, those comments you left that you built into posts, and I would expand them into longer form newsletters. And, you don't have to send them out every week, or if you can, I would, but if you can't, then, do it twice a month or once a month. But the reason for that is you're just getting yourself out in front of people more and standing out from other people in a way that you probably can't do if you're just applying online or trying to contact recruiters or headhunters or stuff like that. And when you create your newsletter, it automatically sends a notification to all your connections and says, do you want to subscribe to this newsletter? It's really easy. People just hit the button. So they don't have to give an email address. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to go anywhere else. And then your newsletter shows up in their newsfeed. So you're going to keep showing up. So those are a few things you can do to create visibility for yourself so that people can see what you can do. I think the other thing you can do is obviously do a project, right? So like, again, I know somebody who's on a job search. She has a whole tracker she created, Google Sheets tracker that ties everything together for her company she's applying to, all the things she's applied to, her networking contacts. It's a schedule. It keeps her on track. I think it's got a habit tracker in there that's like, make sure you do these things every day. And she created that for herself, but then she started sharing it with everybody else. And the trick of it is she's actually a learning and instructional designer. And so that shows what kind of work she can do and creatively and also put together a product to put there out in the world. So that's a bit of a way to stand out because she's sharing that with as many people as possible. She's giving it away. But it also shows that she can do that. And she's also, shows some ambition there and some drive and some stuff, stands out. Your project might be as simple as reaching out to 20 people who work in your industry. And this is a good reason to reach out to them. So you find somebody who's active on LinkedIn in your industry or who's active on some social site or some other online site. And you say like, hey, I know you talk a lot about this. I would love to get your advice on what's the number one thing somebody getting into this industry should know, or what's the one thing that you wish you knew when you got into this industry. And you tell them, by the way, I'm asking 20 other people this question too. I won't put your name next to it if you don't want me to, or I can totally say where it came from, but I'm going to put together a guide at the end of this, and it's going to have my top 20 insights that I learned on this. And so that gives you a reason to connect. It gives you a reason to maybe, meet somebody who could move you closer to a job. And it also gives you a reason to follow up with them in 2 months when you finish this project. So you could, you got to do these things, right? You can't say I'm going to do them and then not do them, because then you become that person they don't want to hire. But when you become that person who says they're going to do it, and you go out and you meet with all these people and you compile it and you put it together in a nice looking guide, And then you come back to those 20 people and you're like, hey, I told you I was going to do this. I would love to share this with you. Let's get together, like read over it. Let's see anything that surprises you. Right? You've given yourself a reason to follow up with those. To number one, get in touch with them. Number two, follow up with them. So those are some ways to get seen and get visible, to stand out from some other people when it comes to this. So, you know, and the project could be something else. I mean, it doesn't have to be that. If you wanted to do some research, you know, you could get on ChatGPT or some other LLMs or other AI models that do good, deep research, and you could go find the top 20 trends in some industry right now. And you could do that, and you could go back to people and say, hey, I did this. I would love to share it with you. You know, let me know what your email is. I'll send it to you, or here it is in the LinkedIn message. I mean, you don't have to make this about getting their email address and setting up some complicated system, but you're basically, again, showing your work and showing why you're different and giving yourself a chance to highlight your skills of how you work. So I think these are like things that a lot of times job seekers don't think about doing. So they spend a lot of time applying or trying to connect with people or cold call or just waiting to hear back or in interviews. And a lot of that time is waiting. While you're waiting, you can be doing some of this stuff. It give you a way to fill up your brain, and it might give you a way to stand out from people. So hopefully that helps. Give some of those a try. If you want to know more, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help share more ideas with you. But keep meeting interesting people, keep connecting. You know, the end of the job search is near. It'll get there. You'll find a new job. And just remember, when you do find a new job, don't forget to keep networking, right? As in, don't stop networking. Keep going, so that you're out there and you're always connecting.